We are doing the mailbag segment. Questions throughout, after really the NFL draft. A lot of questions that you guys sent in here talking about players. Should the Lions, add somebody in free agency? What does it look like for the NFC North after the draft? What is the positions that the Lions should address? Should be players the Lions should look to acquire before the start of the regular season? We're going to go through all of the mailbag questions, give you my answers. Let's get this thing started right now. If you're a fan of the Detroit Lions, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Why is that? Because we are dropping news and rumors every single day. You don't want to miss out with these information that we drop it on the channel. Let's get into the first question here. Grade the Lions draft. Now, grades here, let's talk about it. Grades really doesn't matter year one, right? I can tell you what I think the grade is, but at the end of the day, we won't know for a couple years. But just going off what I saw, I'm going to give it a B plus type of grade. I love the selection of getting some guards here as well as getting a defensive tackle. I thought it was something that this team really needs. And I tell you what, building the trench is exactly what teams do to win championships. You gotta build through the trenches, the uglies, and that's what you have to do. Tyleik Williams, again, I had a early second round grade on him, trading out of the first round to like the early second round. So they picked him at 28. Who cares, right? It's nearly the same thing. So I'm perfectly fine with that pick. I love going Tate Ratledge, getting the guard, put him on there. He's going to make that offensive line good this year. I mean, we doubled up in guards, and obviously I think the biggest question mark that everyone's talking about is the wide receiver, like Isaac TeSlaa, the trade. I like the player. The trade was a little bit rich for me, but that's, and not going edge earlier, that's my knocks for the draft. Really, that's it. So B plus. No draft is going to be perfect. No general manager is perfect, but Brad Holmes knows what he's doing in the draft. I have full-on support for what he does, generally speaking. So I'm not going to sit there, just be a homer and just believe everything that he does, but he definitely does a good job. So that B plus. What's your grades? In the comments, give me your grades from the Lions draft. Next question here. What players should the Lions add to the team? The depth is really good right now, and I'm talking really good. When I look at this team, there's not many holes. There's two positions that they could add depth to. That is it. That's really safety and edge. And we picked them both up in the draft, but as late round draft picks. Safety is really not even the depth is really a need even there, to be honest, but they could upgrade. Edge, Za'Darius Smith. That's what I think the Lions should add. That's the one player I think the Lions should go and get. If you add Za'Darius Smith to this team, we have the money. We have the third best cap space in the NFL. He's going to make the team better. It's going to give you a better chance to win. So I have no problem if the Lions were to go out and get Za'Darius Smith. I want that to occur because I think he can add value to this team. He added value last year. We traded for him. He's got value right now. You look at the depth at edge, we need to get better there. You got Aidan Hutchinson, right? Marcus Davenport. He's an injury-concerned player. He has not been healthy for a while. This is something that we got to worry about. Joshua Pascal. He's a question mark. He gets injured in games, but when he's in the games, he is doing pretty good. But he's got to do better, right? Al-Quadin Muhammad. He's a nice depth piece, and he's got potential. He did some work for us last year, but if you're depending on that, that's a little bit nerve-wracking, right? We just drafted Hassanin in the 6th round. He's a 6th-round pick. If you were to turn around and add Za'Darius Smith, the Lions would be in a better position to win. And so I'd like to see that. Why did the Lions draft wide receiver? We needed edge. Yes, we did needed edge, but remember, they valued the draft board differently. This is something that we have to get across to the fan base as well as other fan bases. We see Mel Kiper Jr.'s board, and we see the boards in the mainstream. You may see my board or whoever, right? Their boards are different. And so just because we needed a position, they valued Isaac TeSlaa really high. Brad Homestade was his favorite wide receiver in the draft. I'm sure he had a gut feeling that he was going to get taken relatively soon. We have seen this now multiple times. They said that with Jahmyr Gibbs. We find out the Jets were going to take him right after there. We talk about Tyleik Williams. We heard that Kansas City probably would have taken him there. These are the things that we don't hear about from the Mel Kiper's mock drafts and all these mock drafts. And I love Mel Kiper Jr. I'm just saying that just because one person has their board, it doesn't mean that's what all the teams have. They like TeSlaa, what he's going to bring to this squad. And yes, we need edge. 100% we need edge. And I would like them to get the Za'Darius Smith we just talked about. But they felt like a player like this falling, they had to make a move. Remember, we got St. Brown in the 4th round. He was passed up 16 times. If you ask anybody right now if we would go and trade up 2 third-round picks to get a St. Brown, I think a lot of people would say yes, right? So we don't know how a player is going to turn out until they turn out. So just because he's a mid-round pick doesn't mean he's not special to this football team. So in the comments, what do you think about TeSlaa? Give me your thoughts in the comments below. Do you trust Marcus Davenport edge 2? No, I don't. I absolutely don't trust Marcus Davenport as edge 2. I'm actually not counting on him, in my opinion, for a lot of this year because he hasn't been healthy. I can only go by what a player has done. In the last couple years, he has been injured, and you're getting older, and the body gets worn down a little bit more with all the injuries adding upon injuries. So I do not trust him at all as number 2. I would trust Joshua Pascal a little bit more than Marcus Davenport. I would trust Al-Quadin Muhammad a little bit more, but this regime trusts Davenport. And look, if he comes out and he can stay healthy, it would be a big boost for the Lions. It would be massive. Again, I'm not even counting on him doing that. So if he does do that, it's a plus for me because I'm not counting on it. Maybe he can. Levi Nuzurike, he did it. Extremely rare. We'll see. Next question. Rank the NFC North. Great question here. After the NFL draft, this one is intriguing to me because it's quite difficult to rank the NFC North. But we'll start with the 4th. I don't know if they'll end up 4th, but I think that the division is going to be really tight in the sense that the records are going to be pretty close. But I'm going to have to go with Chicago Bears just because they have a new head coach in Ben Johnson. They have new players, so it's going to take a little bit of time, and the other teams are established. I think they can win 9 games. That's where I have them. The Chicago Bears are sitting at 9 wins, bottom of the NFC North. I'll go with the Minnesota Vikings coming in at no. We're going to switch that. We're going to do Green Bay Packers coming in at 3. We'll talk about J.J. McCarthy in a minute, but Jordan Love, we'll see if they can do this. I have question marks in him as a quarterback. I know a lot of people were loving on him. I don't know. I think he's all right quarterback. I don't think he's elite. I think the Packers can go 10 wins. Minnesota Vikings, I'm going to come in at 2, 11 wins. Their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, and they have so much talent in that team, offense and defense. You think he has to be all right over there. Justin Jefferson, Addison, run game, offensive line, defense. The Vikings, they have talent on that football team all around, and they picked up more on defense and free agency. They're going to be a hard team to beat, and I just feel like J.J. McCarthy, all he's got to do is just play decent, and he should be good. I think his ceiling's much better and higher than Sam Darnold. I don't know, right? But you look at the Minnesota Vikings, I think they're a really high-quality team. And they still are a high-quality team. And, of course, you got the Detroit Lions sitting at 1st. I'm going to go prior. I haven't seen the schedule released, but I'm thinking, just 12 wins, something of that nature. But they take the division. But it's going to be a tough division again this year because it got even tougher. All the teams in the NFC North stacked up a little bit in the draft and did pretty decent in free agency. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough division, very tough division. What do you got? Where you have for the NFC North? Where do you have the Lions in the NFC North? In the comments, let me know your thoughts below. Who is better, the Lions or the Eagles? On the roster standpoint, I'll have to go with Philadelphia right now. I really like their defensive line. They won the Super Bowl. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And right now, they're the man. They're holding the Lombardi Trophy. They've got the ring after this past season. They got stability right now, and so I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles is the better team right now. But Detroit is sitting right there, as number 2 in the NFC that I have. I have the Lions as number 2 right now. I hope they face – I would love to face the Philadelphia Eagles week 1. I think that would be ideal. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I would absolutely love it to get that one out the way quick. What is the biggest concerns for the Lions in 2024? Edge position. That's my biggest concern. Number 2, injuries still to Alim McNeill and Malcolm Rodriguez because they're still coming back. I think Alim McNeill will come halfway through the season. Concerns of the progression of both offense and defense with new coordinators. Not as concerned, but I think it'll be a slow start, just a little bit for the offense at least, because that's kind of what happens. And, of course, injuries, just like all teams. I'm always worried about injuries because injuries is what destroys years, and I felt like last year we could have won a Super Bowl, and the injuries really did hurt that for us. And I just hope we don't get ravaged and savaged and destroyed with these injuries again, because we got to be not having that. No more injuries. Folks, give me your thoughts in the comments about these questions. Adios.